What's up, everyone? This is Destroyer229, and welcome back to Let's Play Persona 4. Last time, we did a little bit more in our social links before heading into the TV world. We did a little bit of work in the Velvet Room where we made a couple new personas. And we are ready to stage a rescue operation. In this episode, we're finally going to head back to Yukiko's castle. It's time that we actually try to make way into, saving Yukiko, considering that the rain has begun to fall in Inaba. So we're going to have Teddy show us the way, and we'll begin the exploration. I don't believe there's really much that we can do out here. Yeah, everyone's a little bit nervous considering how close it is to the fog. But I think Teddy has something for us if we talk to him. Ah, he does. Oh hey, free go home. Well, thanks, Teddy. I think that's the last time Teddy gives you free stuff. But yeah, first time you talk to him, he gives you a free go home. Otherwise, you gotta find him yourself. So anyway, let's head back into the castle. Sure, go for it. Yeah, remember what I said when the game fully expects you to go into the castle immediately afterward? That's what I was talking about. So yes, look at the map. It'll tell you where you've been. And if we hit start, then we can actually see everything. I actually did that while I was exploring here the first time. So, yes. Basically saying, hey, this game has randomly generated dungeons. Remember that. So, are we actually going to be saving Yukiko today? The answer is no. There's a lot that we need to get through. But, our goal for this exploration is to reach Yukiko. That is ultimately what we want to try to accomplish. Now that might sound a little bit insane, since we pretty much have to go through the entirety of the dungeon in one go. And, I mean, I did some crazy things with the Tartarus exploration in Persona 3, but that was more because I wanted to challenge myself. With Persona 4, at least for a max social link run, it's pretty much required to go through the dungeons as quickly as possible, and to go through them pretty much in a single setting. Here we're doing it in two settings because we don't have a reliable way of recovering SP yet. But for the most part, dungeons will just take a single trip into the TV world. So yeah, battles tend to be a lot more concentrated in terms of, well, the difference between combat and the social aspect of the game. So yeah, that's actually something that I have a little bit of a problem with this game, especially since, there isn't a good way of recovering SP until about maybe 2/3 of the way through the game. And I mean, we'll have ways of recovering SP long before that. In fact, I mean, we get access to some SP recovering stuff relatively early on, but there's a bit of a high cost to that, whereas in Persona 3, the only thing really stopping you was the tired mechanic. Which, I mean, say what you will about the tired mechanic, it did more so balance between, like, dungeon exploration and social interactions. Where I feel like Persona 4, they are just a lot more concentrated. So that's kind of something I have a problem with Persona 4. But at any rate, we've completely finished off the first floor here. Enemies here are still kind of wimps. I mean, they are still the same enemies. Enemies only really change too much when you change floors. No, 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 no. Do not pull that crap with me. Do not pour a Gabora Gabora, Teddy. So yes, that is actually something that, well, I don't think I mentioned, is that shadows have different strengths depending on their size. Oh, let me actually get through this. So, the larger the shadows are during battle, the stronger that they actually are. Which means they'll do more damage and they have more HP. Also, on the field, I think I might have mentioned this, but I'll say it again if I have. Shadows on the field, their sizes indicate how strong they are, as opposed to Persona 3, where sizes dictated the quantity of enemies. So larger enemies will be more powerful. Smaller enemies are far easier to get an initiative on, and they won't notice you as quickly, but larger shadows have a larger sight radius. So keep that in mind if you're trying to attack an enemy. And if there are too many, like, big shadows and you don't think you can take care of them, just head down to an earlier floor and just do a little bit of grinding. Alright, so now that I've explained that, let's open the door.
Yukiko?
Yukiko-san, are you alright?
Yukiko, what's wrong?
That's not Yukiko.
Oh my, special guests. I wonder how they'll play into all this. Things are really heating up. Okie dokie, I'm going back to hunt for my Prince Charming. Oh, where could he be? This place is huge. It's so exciting, but it makes it so hard to find him. Oh, maybe he's playing hide and seek in the fog. Ready or not, here I come. Let's go further in then, shall we?
What the hell is this?
You're not Yukiko. Who are you?
What are you talking about? I'm Yukiko, and Yukiko is me.
No! Don't tell me! Are you... Where's the real Yukiko?
What's with these voices?
The shadows are getting agitated.
Well, I'm off again. You better be waiting with bells on, my dear prince.
Hey, wait! That clearly wasn't the real Yukiko. It had to be...
I think it was. It must have been the other part of herself.
So it's just like what happened to us.
But I don't think she was excited for nothing. The real Yukiko wants to show us something. I can feel it. It's hard to explain. It seems like she has a strong connection to this castle. This is a lot more dangerous than I thought.
Yukiko!
Chie!
Hey! Not again. Damn it, we told her not to run off on her own.
Get back here! So yes, we've met firsthand Yukiko's shadow and her hunt for her Prince Charming. That was terrible, Teddy. And yes, in case it wasn't obvious enough, I've already shown off initiatives. That's still terrible, Teddy. Now, dungeons... Every single dungeon in the game has some sort of theme that connects them to the person that they're based off of. The dungeons represent a distorted image of that person in some form or fashion, as do the person's shadow. It's a distortion of what represents a person's fears, their desires, something that makes them insecure about themselves and wants to hide from the world.
There are 2 enemies! Hang in there!
So, while there's some grain of truth to what the shadows represent, as well as the dungeons, keep in mind that they are distorted versions. Anyway, we have new enemies, Black Ravens.
You can win this! Do your best!
Okay, before I forget non-analysis, let's go ahead and switch Chie over to direct commands.
Okay, I'll do as you say.
And, let's switch to Valkyrie. I want to say these things are weak to ice. They are not weak to ice. Wind then? No wind. Ah, crap. Well, at least they use a turn to just power up. Now, I actually haven't mentioned just what Yosuke can do, or what Chie can do for that matter, and I suppose I'll get into a little bit more of that out of battle. Chie doesn't really have too many skills, though, so I'm just gonna have her kick this thing. That did less damage than I was hoping for. Ah, crap. Oh, this is a problem. You.
Good work, Sensei!
And just have Yosuke rush. Yes, if you hit triangle, everyone will just rush and do basic attacks, and it essentially speeds up the battle. Ooh, shovel time. What? I don't want to slime. So what are the capabilities for Yosuke and Chie? Well, basically what Yosuke is can be summed up as a jack of all trades. He has a lot of different skills in pretty much everything, but he's only really good for a couple of instances. The 2 things that Yosuke is really good with are wind skills and evasion. Yosuke gets access to some very high power wind skills. And, well, that's kind of what makes him really good. Oh, crap! Oh, double crap! Oh, it's just a hand. Oh, that's bad.
One enemy out!
Ah, crap.
Hang in there!
Ah, crap. Okay, you need to die.
Go, Sensei!
Okay, well, Chie doesn't get in on this, but whatever, we'll still take care of it. Yikes, we are off to a bad start. Angel, no, I already grabbed Opsaris when I was off screen. Ooh!
Cool, you leveled up!
Alright! Okay, yeah, this is already bad if Yosuke and Chie are already looking pretty down. So anyway, Yosuke's greatest asset is his wind skills. He gets access to a good variety of wind spells throughout the game at a pretty steady pace. In addition, he also has access to plenty of, well, evasion. And by that I mean the only two in the game, Tsukukaja and Masukukaja. But it still is a fantastic asset to have in battle.
You hit its weak. That's my cue. Leave it to me.
Ooh, okay, well we can actually see Yosuke's follow-up attack. These ravens are weak to electricity, and since we knocked one down, go for it.
Watch me. That's it, Yosuke. One
Yosuke
enemy
will
down.
knock down the enemy. Now, if the other one had been knocked down, then it would have then been a trigger for an all-out attack. So Yosuke can chain those into, well, an all-out attack. But if it doesn't go into that, then it just moves on to the next person's turn.
Yosuke, pound
Oh,
an enemy.
crap. I forgot that well, whatever. These things are just going to use Tarukaja anyway. So, yes, that's how follow-up attacks work. Now, Chie, if you would be a deer. Thank you.
Yeah, John. That's
Now I can
John.
take this thing out. There we go.
Sensei, you- All right.
Oh, I was hoping Chie would get a chance to chime in, but whatever. Alright, so down goes the enemy. And yeah, unfortunately, it is rather difficult. Ooh, nice! She leveled up and she learned Bufu. Now, when I say Yosuke is a bit of a jack of all trades, he does have access to different varieties of skills. He has some physical attacking skills, he has some healing spells, he has a spell that causes status ailments, but, like, those skills aren't really utilized to their full potential. For example, healing. I would say that they're similar to Persona 3, where you should have a dedicated healer. There are two characters that I would say are dedicated healers. Yosuke is not one of them. Ooh, new enemies.
Two enemy shadows.
So
You
while
get to
he
go
might be
first.
useful for healing really early on, don't expect him to be good in terms of healing for later parts of the game.
You can win this.
Anyway, trance twins. I'm pretty sure I know what these things are weak to.
Two
And that would be
enemies left.
fire.
Persona.
Let's get him, Arabis!
Good work.
Nice!
That's
Alright, let's
so
beat the
far.
crap out of them.
So who's next in line for a stomping?
Alright, and hey, Yosuke leveled up! For physical attacks, even though Yosuke tends to have a bit of a balanced blend with magic and physical attacks, for physical attacking skills, Yosuke only gets 3. 2 of them are pretty early on, but they're kind of weak, and the last one you don't get till near the end of the game. And with status ailments, like, Yosuke only gets access to 1. Which, although can be quite effective, doesn't really make him one for, like, inflicting status ailments on a ton of enemies. So he has access to a lot of different types of skills, but aside from wind and evasion, they're not really all too well realized. Now, does that make Yosuke a bad party member? Not in the slightest. Each party member has their own uses and advantages. And with Yosuke, his advantage is very much wind spells. So, while the other types of skills might not be the most effective way, there's still nice bonuses, and he can be extremely effective in what he's really good at. Ooh, a rare chest! Now, how rare chests work are actually quite different. You'll see these actually fairly common throughout the game, but they are locked. In order to open these, you need to have a chest key that you can get from various means. You can get them from certain quests, you can get them from normal chests, and you can get them from rare shadows. We've only got one of these, but let's go ahead and see what we get. These things can have some very nice equipment. Fire suppressor. Well, actually, that might not be a bad thing. That might not be what I want, but it's something that can still be good. Raises evasion rate to fire attacks. That's going to be especially good on Chie, since she is weak to fire. Now, speaking of Chie, what Chie is capable of battle is actually quite simple. She is really good at hitting things. Really, really hard. I suppose some of Yukiko's inner thoughts still seep out, and her own routine at the inn is starting to show through. Now, what do I mean by Chie can hit things really, really hard? Well, a lot of her skills focus on raising attack power, as well as having some very good physical attacks. Chie gets access to all kinds of physical attacks and generally gets a steady stream of more powerful ones as the game progresses. Ooh, a Snuff Soul! That is really good! That's 50 SP recovery right there. Now, while her persona is technically of an ice affinity, she really doesn't have that good of a magic stat. And honest to goodness, the highest magic spell ice spell she gets, I can't even utilize that, and I would rather not fight a powerful enemy right now. The best ice spell she gets is Bufula. That's the best she's got.
Hey! I leveled up!
Hey, good job, Chie. This would change in Golden, where she doesn't even get Bufula. And any sort of, increasing power of ice spells instead just raises her crit rate. So in Golden, she's even less capable of using magic or ice spells, even though she's technically of an ice affinity. But it does also prove that she's just meant to be a pure physical attacker. And like I mentioned, she does it very well. Whether it's single target or multi-target, Chie can do pretty much anything super well as long as they aren't resistant to physical attacks. So that's really all I gotta say about Chie. A lot less than I have to go over, but she's a lot more simple of a character. She kicks things really hard, that's about it. Now, while we are going through... I thought I saw a shadow around the corner. Hey!
Congratulations, Sensei!
I leveled up! Now, while we're going through this dungeon, there is something else that I want to talk about. I already talked about how dungeons work, I already talked about our party members, but there's still a third thing. And that would be new enemies!
There's only one enemy!
Not really, but this enemy is actually kind of special. The Positive King.
It's not strong at all! I'm sure you can win!
I'm gonna hope that I don't absolutely have to show off what it's capable of. Ooh, I mean, he does have decent enough defenses, at least the physical attacks.
Damn, it's not going down.
I'm sure this thing is weak to fire, but I'll try every element. Anyway, what makes this thing dangerous is the fact that... Well, actually, I'll get to show it.
That's some thick skin.
He can summon enemies.
Yikes! Reinforcements! We were
And
nearly
these
done.
enemies, well, these enemies are actually pretty unique, and they can only be summoned by the king. The secret
He's not
Bambino.
strong at all. I'm sure you can win.
So, yeah, and these enemies also have their own drops. So if you want to get the items that are associated with it, you have to let this thing live long enough in order to summon them. Now, I forget which one is... I know one of these things is weak to fire. It might be the Bambino. So let's try Augie. Not the Bambino. Not the Bambino.
Yosuke pounded an enemy.
But then the thing summons more. You do get more experience, so it is a way of grinding out experience. I might want to switch to Valkyrie. Valkyrie has a ton of attack power. And if I can just... Damn it, Yosuke! Okay, now this is going to be a problem.
Enemy reinforcements. Hurry and beat them.
Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of you. Okay, and then, let's see, what have I not tried? I have not tried fire. Let's switch to a Rhombus, and hit him with an Augie.
Soda.
There we go, okay.
One so far.
So that just leaves you. I'm not sure what you're weak to. It's clearly not wind. Yosuke?
Counting on you.
Thank you. Alright, so down that goes, and it's just Ukabok. So yeah, those poison flowers are only dropped by those Bambinos.
Level up.
So, if you want to get those, well, you have to let that king live. But Yosuke learned Dekaja. That's actually really nice, and is another skill that's actually surprisingly helpful. Gets rid of enemies' buffs, which is really nice. And unfortunately, that's our second locked box that we can't do anything with. Let's go ahead and use medicine on Chie, or two. Yosuke's fine. For now. Alright, and that is everything. Yeah, unfortunately, like, everything is randomly generated, so there might be instances where we can't actually get everything, depending on whether or not we have chess keys or not. Okay, now I believe the 5th floor is actually a stationary floor. Yeah. Sometimes dungeon floors have some sort of gimmick, and this is one of them. We'll see it soon enough, as soon as I get into a fight with a shadow, but I would love to get the initiative on it. Now, if you would be so kind as to... There we go! Good enough! So what exactly is the gimmick of this floor? Well, if we head in any one direction... Maybe not. Ah, oh, there it goes. Okay, so how it works is that if we try heading in any direction, we'll simply get teleported somewhere else. So we could just keep going endlessly and we'll still be warped. The way to get through this is simply to head backwards. If we head backwards to where we're warped, we won't actually be warped. And instead, we get access to stuff and shadows. If one of you would be so kind as to turn around so I can get you. Thank you, you're too kind. Ah, crap.
Yay, I leveled up!
Alright, Chie! I was hoping I would get a first strike in, so that way I wouldn't have to use up so many. Ooh. so much SP. Normally, you only get armor in rare chests, but I suppose this is an exception. A Kevlar vest. I'm pretty sure this is also gender neutral. It is also gender neutral. But it's still pretty good. Doesn't have any effect, but it gives a lot more defense. I am definitely putting that on my character. My character is imperative that he doesn't die. Okay, unfortunately, it only goes back one section. So we simply turn the camera around and we can head back this way. Now, I'm pretty sure this way won't do us any... Ah, crap. Damn it! Okay, I have absolutely nothing to worry about those twins. They know Mabufu, but it only did, like, between 2 and 5 damage. So yeah, we can't do anything at this end. So we just press onward. And we get teleported over here. Now, I think it's over at this section. It's always weird. I always seem to find enemies when they're facing towards me. So it's always a pain to try to just have them wait before I can get an initiative on them. Oh well, what are you gonna do? Now, I think this leads to... Yes. We are not gonna open that door immediately. You know why we're not gonna open that door immediately? Because there's something very bad waiting for us. So I'm gonna heal up Yosuke. I'm gonna heal up that much. I'm going to use up some of my taps. So, wait, what? Oh, right, because I used some the other time we were here. I'm gonna fill myself up right up because guess what? We've got a mid-boss coming up. So let's go ahead and enter. And yes. Oh no. Ugh.
An enemy ambushed you. Hang in there.
Okay, yeah. Sometimes bosses will automatically have the first attack on you. And that really sucks. So, we are fighting our first mid-boss, the Avenger Knight.
It's not strong at all. I'm sure you can win.
The Avenger Knight is weak to fire, ice, electricity, and wind. Resists physical and nulls light and dark. It knows the skills Skewer and Poison Skewer. Note, though, that when I say weak, it won't actually knock him down. He is vulnerable to magic and will take increased damage. But he does not get knocked down, so we can't get an all-out attack off if we hit him with a weakness. So, who has more endurance? Arabis does. Alright, I'm sticking with him. So, for example... That dealt a lot of damage, but didn't actually knock him down. The way some enemies work in Persona 4 is that some are more vulnerable to certain attacks than others, and more resistant than some other forms of attacks. So, do note that sometimes I might just refer to things as being vulnerable to something, instead of straight up weak to in the future. Vulnerable means that they will take more damage, but not necessarily be knocked down. Yikes! Okay, Yosuke definitely needs the heal. You know what? Just keep using Bufu. I would rather not waste so much SP from Chie. Okay, Yosuke, heal yourself. That should be good. We'll use another Agi. Oh, crap. Ugh, that dealt more damage than the last one. Okay, thank you, Chie.
Don't think, feel.
That's a good thing we got that Kevlar vest, because that seriously helped. Ooh, speaking of seriously helping,
Amazing, Sensei.
we leveled up.
Another level for me!
As did Yosuke. And Chie. Awesome, level ups for everyone. And we get the glass key. No, I'm not. So, yeah. I think...
Someone help Sensei. His health is low.
Shut up, Teddy. I'm doing fine. And yeah, since we beat the mid-boss, now we have free reign over this area. Now, yeah, the game sort of expects you to head back, but the game also sort of expects you to not have grind out that beginning area and not to have plenty of good personas. Like a Robus or Valkyrie. So, yeah, we're just gonna keep pressing onwards, though we are running pretty low on time. This glass key, however, allows us to open the doors on the north and south end of the floor. The south end has a chest and a shadow. Let's beat up a shadow. Or 5.
5 enemies? Don't get this.
Yeah, this would be one instance where I'm gonna use a Vanish Ball. Because I don't have Mabufu. Oh, wait, do I have Mabufu? Shoot, I might have actually had Mabufu and I would have been fine. Valkyrie, do you have Mabufu? No, you don't. You have Medea. Okay, then that was a good move. Yeah, 5 enemies when I don't have any skills for multi-target, that's a problem. But this chest will always have 3 chest keys in it. So, very nice to have. And speaking of which, there were those 2 locked chests down on the previous floor. So I'm going to go and backtrack and grab those items, and then I'll meet you guys back here at the end of the episode. Inside rare chest number 1, we get an ice pin. Okay, I'm pretty sure pins reduce the damage taken from that element. Yeah, there are 2 different types of accessories that sound similar but do pretty different things. There are pins and there are vows. Pins, as you can see, reduce damage, whereas vows increase damage. And by that, I mean pins decrease damage taken from that element, and vows increase your damage of that particular element. In case that wasn't obvious enough. To be honest, I don't find pins to be too great, you know? Just so that way we have something, I'll equip that to myself. But that is absolutely not a permanent thing. That is because I really don't have anything. Alright, maybe this one will have something better. Maybe some armor. Usually a weapon's a bust when it comes to these things. So I'm looking for a good accessory or some armor. Combat dress! Oh, perfect! That is exactly what I want. So this is going to be our first example of gender-specific armor. As you can see, Yosuke doesn't have anything. But Chie does. So yes, like I mentioned, most armor in the game is split between genders. So this is female-only armor. With Evade Fire Medium! Oh, that is absolutely perfect. That is going to be extremely helpful. And I'm going to beat up this shadow just because I can. And a Robus leveled up. Awesome. And gets Resist Dizzy. That'll be nice. Next is Sharp Student. I'm pretty sure that decreases the likelihood of being hit by a critical attack. So overall, pretty nice. One of those chests was a bit of a bust, but the other one was exceedingly helpful. And now Chie has some pretty good evasion to fire attacks, which, like I mentioned, is going to be incredibly helpful. Trust me on this one. But with all that's said and done, we are going to end things off here. We've taken down the mid-boss, and we are roughly about halfway through the dungeon. So we've still got a ways to go, but we are making some pretty decent headway. And we're not looking too worse for wear, and we still have plenty of equipment left. So overall, I'd say we're doing pretty alright for ourselves. So, next time on Let's Play Persona 4. We continue our exploration through Yukiko's castle. We still have a fair ways to travel, but slowly but surely, we're making our way to Yukiko. It's only going to be a matter of time before we reach her. Let's hope nothing bad happens to her, or to us, before we can make it to her. So until next time, everyone, take care.